This video series attempts to provide an esoteric analysis of the Holy Scriptures, offering an antidote to the distortions promoted by literalist and uninitiated readings. Rooted in the principles of Empyrean dragon magic and aligned with the Illuminist mission of advancing humanity toward unity through rational spiritual gnosis, the series invites viewers to embark on a progressive, interpretive journey. Each new video builds upon the last, creating a cumulative hermeneutic architecture that reveals the scriptures as a coded metaphysical narrative for magic and self-realization. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. Genesis 1, verse 13. This verse concludes the third step in the mind's spiritual unfoldment. The first step was the awakening of consciousness when light was introduced and separated from darkness, the mind's ignorance of its divine nature. The first Hermetic principle, the all is mind, the universe is mental, perfectly explains the symbolic narrative of the first day of creation. We are introduced to the nature of the mind and how the first spark of illuminating intelligence arises from the darkness of ignorance through the spoken word, logos. The second step in the mind's spiritual unfoldment is explained through the separation of the waters by a firmament in the sky between the waters above and the waters below. The firmament is a metaphysical membrane, a boundary. The waters above represent the collective unconscious, a vast transpersonal archetypal field. The waters below represent the personal unconscious, the individual reservoir of forgotten, repressed, and subliminal contents. The only thing that can separate the collective and personal unconscious is an egoic filter. Without an egoic filter, there cannot be an individual center of consciousness. Moreover, the person would be barraged by archetypal material, the collective unconscious, losing individuality and coherence. With it, the egoic filter stands as the sky, and the personal unconscious can move like subterranean waters. This ego boundary organizes and separates the transpersonal archetypal field from the personal field of complexes, drives, and instincts. The waters reflect each other like mirrors, hence are explained by the second Hermetic principle. As above, so below, as within, so without. The egoic I stands as the liminal space, the pseudo-center of the psyche, between the collective and personal unconscious. Without the firmament, there would be no sky, no space in which to observe, reflect, and become self-aware. The egoic filter allows the undifferentiated unconscious to have the potential to differentiate itself. This envelops the second step of the mind's spiritual unfoldment through the establishment of faith. Faith here is not the kind of faith in an external divine figure as practiced in the diabolical religions of Abrahamism, but in a rational order that exists beyond the mind's current understanding and prevents it from regressing into the chaos of undifferentiated unconscious potentiality. The egoic I, as the liminal space between the lower waters and the higher, cultivates faith to understand the mirroring of rational order in the lower sphere. This is vital as the light of consciousness, as explained on day 1, is still weak at this point. The third day explains the appearance of dry land amidst the gathered waters. It is essential to understand that nothing physical is happening here, as the whole creation story is a hidden code about the operations of the mind. This is, after all, a mental reality, not a physical one. The gathered waters below are the waters of the personal unconscious, and the appearance of dry land is the appearance of ego consciousness. If on the second day the egoic filter has been established as a liminal space, it now receives formation. The grass, herbs, and trees yielding their fruits express the fertility of the mind with ideas, concepts, and thoughts. This is a process of recursive thinking. The formless becomes formed, or rather syntactic form becomes semantic form. The mind becomes impregnated with ideas, self-replicating thoughts and images. This reflects the third stage of the mind's spiritual unfoldment, with the formative activity of imagination being established in the mind. Without imagination and the dry land of ego consciousness, syntactic wave forms cannot transform into semantic contents. There is no space for thoughts to root and grow, individuation, and the formation of consciousness. The third day is resonant with the third Hermetic principle. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. The faculty of faith, introduced in the second stage, is a precursor to vibration and motion, as it provides the necessary confidence and trust in a higher order of things for consciousness to arise until rational thinking and understanding are achieved. Through the principle of vibration, sinusoidal waves of unconscious potentiality condense into recognizable patterns, complexes, and wave functions. Imagination crystallizes vibration into image and thought, allowing structures and patterns to become established in the earth of ego consciousness. In essence, the third Hermetic principle of vibration declares that everything is oscillatory and vibratory. All there is the mind and the sinusoidal waves in it. Every thought, every image, and every form is a vibratory sinusoidal mathematical wave. From an ontological mathematical perspective, the third principle of vibration corresponds to wave frequency and amplitude, the dynamic activity of monads. So far, verses 9 to 12 of Genesis 1 have described the same process. The mathematical oscillations of mind stabilize into consistent, self-replicating functions, each after its kind. Thus, the third stage is when consciousness learns to self-harmonize, creating sustained standing waves, forms of being and thought. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Please share the message as widely as possible. Thank you.